ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats for this third panel. And we're going to be talking about the issue of professionalisation in the domestic and home care sector. And let me just remind you of the numbers of times we talked about skills this morning. If you remember, and let's see the results of the Slido poll we did just before lunch, because we asked you, what are the key criteria when hiring a domestic and home care worker? Now, what came out very strongly was finding the right click, the right chemistry, the right personality, someone who will be in your home, who will be in a very intimate setting. But let me draw your attention to the second key criteria. 27% said it's about the skills. It's about the competence, which is a sign of the quality of the type of care that they can offer. When we saw the testimonies from healthcare and personal care workers and employers just after lunch, they talked about the importance of being able to be a career, to be a pathway, to be always, how do you recognize the qualifications? Our speakers this morning, again, talked about we need to find mechanisms to upskill and reskill people in this sector. So this panel is going to particularly address this issue of professionalisation. And I remind you that we are in the European Year of Skills. So this is a totally appropriate time to be reflecting when Europe is thinking what skills does it need for the future, whether it's the digital or the green transition and the demographic transition. So that's the context for this panel. And I'm delighted that I'm going to be leaving you in capable hands because the moderator for this session is Baptiste Lenfant, the General Delegate for Group and Domicile Competences. Baptiste, I'm going to hand you the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, just to tell you that I'm not going to speak English. I wish I was more fluent than that, but I won't be able to hold all the discussion with the person who will get on stage. So if you want to get on your headphones, it is time to. Voilà. Donc je switch.
There you go. I'm switching to French. How magic is that? And I'm absolutely delighted to be moderating this roundtable or this panel on professionalization. I haven't counted the number of times that we've mentioned the term today, at least 20, 30 times. So it's indeed quite a topic. Professionalization means several stakes for the sector of home workers and everything that has to do with home care. Yes, it has to do with recognition, valorization of the work. It means that you are socially recognized, professionally recognized. That's a first challenge. Second challenge is give visibility to these jobs that very often are indeed associated with a lot of bias. And of course, it's important to indeed have skills so as to have quality care for those people who need it. So professionalization is an essential, a critical element for the attractiveness of the sector. And I just want to remind you that the European Federation, our European Federation, has been advocating for the professionalization of this sector. And this has to be a core value of what is being undertaken at the EU level. And first of all, because its members have committed themselves or have worked indeed at European level, Iberia in particular, which is the French platform of the sector. Well, in France, Iberia has taken part in more than 8 projects, gathering 13 partner countries projects dealing with the development of new skills, digital skills. Our Latvian speaker this morning talked about it. And in terms of developing digital skills, there was also this idea of a transfer of knowledge from the carer or to the person who he or she is taken care of, and vice versa. And then there's also the green skills, so the more environmental skills in our everyday lives. And of course, we've worked on mechanisms for the recognition of these skills. We're talking about micro credits here. And Iberia, our French partner, has been working for over 30 years on the issue of professionalizing the sector in France in partnership with the social partners, because thanks to social partners and thanks to the social dialogue that we've talked about in the previous panel, there is a willingness to really have structuring programs and schemes. And ever since last year, we have more than 100,000 people who are following these career paths at national level. And before I invite the speakers to come to the stage, I'd like to remind you that in the white paper put together by the EFFE in 2019, among the 10 proposals, where we were talked about, indeed, professionalization as such. Right. So now I will ask and invite the following people to come to the stage. Sophie Bresset, Secretary General of Fondation du Domicile, Director General, Fondation du Domicile. Claire Champex, Policy Officer at Eurocare. Annie Kempers, founder of National Professionalization Chamber, specialized in, indeed, the recognition of experience, the Dutch Examination Chamber. Emmanuel Montebarano, President of the Supervisory Body of Accrédien, UNI. Irène Bellomo, Policy Officer of the European Commission, DG Employment. And I hope I won't bludgeon the name of our following speakers. Kinga Eyu Ojo, a member of the Bureau of the European Economic and Social Committee. Please, everyone, sit down and welcome. So I give you another minute to put your headsets, because, as I said, I'm going to speak French, and I'd like to have the interpretation when people talk English. Irène Bellomo, well, we said it in the very beginning. This is the European Year of Skills. So that's a label launched by the European Commission. This event bears the label of the European Year of Skills. A very simple question to you, Irène. Why did you launch this European Year of Skills? What motivates the European Year of Skills, and why now? With a microphone, please, otherwise we can't hear you.
Hello, so thank you very much for the invitation. It is great to see such a big number of stakeholders taking up on the concept of the European Year of Skills and embedding it in their events. The European Year of Skills came about at the initiative of the President of the European Commission, as you may know by now, during her State of the Union address in 2022. She pointed out to the problem of labor shortages in many sectors in the economic framework of the European Union, and underlined the importance of investments in training and professional education and upskilling. So in bringing about the European Year of Skills, the Commission seeks to increase the momentum and foster the implementation of the many actions that have already been taken in the last years to strengthen upskilling and reskilling, and also to reach one of the Porto targets that we set for 2030, to have 60% of adults in training each year. And so from May of this year to May of next year, it's a very particular year, so it's running from May to May, we will be putting the spotlight on the need to work together for skills development of all the working age population in the European Union. And for this, we're putting forward 4 objectives. These are quite overarching, and they're relevant, I would say, for any sector, really. And I think you would see this reflected also in your sectors. And these are enhanced investment into skills, We have several funding programs that have a strong focus on skills. I can quote the Recovery and Resilience Facility, the European Social Fund Plus, and Erasmus Plus, of course, which has a very strong focus on vocational education and training. The second objective is an increased skills relevance. For this, we are cooperating very closely with employers to understand which are the needs on the labor market, improve matching between aspirations of workers and the opportunities on the labor markets. This also to facilitate the access of more people to the labor market, especially vulnerable categories as well. And the fourth one is attracting talent from third countries. Tomorrow there's a package coming. I would invite you to stay tuned about this. Will not say more. Our goal is really first and foremost to promote a mentality of upskilling and reskilling in the union, and we can only do this if we get everybody on board. So it's really important to strengthen the collective action and skills development, and I think my colleagues and all the other panelists covered this in previous sessions already. And I would like to extend an invitation to all of you to use our logo of the European Year of Skills if you're organizing any activity or event connected to skills development in the coming months, and really to, tell us if you're organizing anything. We're also very interested in promoting these activities through our website and even possibly in our upcoming events.
Merci.
Thank you very much, Irene. So you talked about an objective, 60% of adults in training every year by 2030, so 78% of active adults. So I turn to you, Kinga, because you're representing the organized civil society at European level. So my question is rather simple as well. So what are your thoughts around this objective? Have you undertaken something concrete around this objective in order to reach it? 2030 is tomorrow, so what have you undertaken?
Yes, I will try this microphone and it works. Good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank EFFE for this invitation, because I think the choice of the debate, not only the anniversary, which is, of course is very a nice thing to celebrate, but the choice of the debate is very timely, mostly in terms of also reflecting on the need of skills and recognition of carers all across Europe, in the domestic sector, but also in healthcare and the other sectors of the care spectrum. So as for the specific question from the European Economic and Social Committee side, of course, we very much welcome this ambitious goal, and also we were ones who were promoting it mainly to raise awareness on the importance of skills for society, for economy, because adult learning is crucial for people to adapt to the green and digital transition, as it was already mentioned before, which have also an impact on the health and care sector as well. But honestly speaking, no data has been mentioned, but we need to know that despite the steady improvements over the years, we are very far from reaching this target. In 2022, only 11.9% of adults were in training in the EU, and there is a big disparity across Europe between countries, but also between regions as well. And I will come also to one of the biggest factors in disparities across in terms of training. And this is linked to those who have a chance of acquiring training at the workplace, quality training, those who are in a more vulnerable situation, as it was already mentioned by the Commission representative. We have a very big ambition to reach out through our network, workers' organizations, trade unions, but also employers' organizations and civil society organizations are targeting especially those who are not less likely to take part in upskilling and reskilling opportunities. Just to mention, referring to an event, to say something very specific. Together with the European Commission, we are organizing an event in February that is targeted at improving the image of vocational education and training. This is taking place in the European Economic and Social Committee, and especially for young people, we would like to showcase skills that can be acquired through VAT. The younger, the better we start this process, and it will include also the care sector at this event. So I think there is a big opportunity also to come and to take part in this event. I would just like to maybe conclude this part, and then if I get the chance, I will say some more. That of course our committee has been pushing for the professionalization of the of the care sector and care workers, because we also very much advocate for high quality of care to offer workers good working conditions in this respect. And to attract more workers to the sector where they can have a fulfilling career. And there is no prospect of good career without initial quality education and training, and without continuous upskilling and reskilling. So to say, to apply the spirit of lifelong learning, it is also important in this aspect. Thank you.
Merci Kinga pour cet éclairage.
Thank you very much, Inga. Indeed, when you look at the numbers that you mentioned, a little less than 12% of the adult population in training per year for 2022, we see that there's a long way ahead, particularly for those home carers. And there are some people, some member states that have invested indeed in this type of work. And I turn to you, Annie Kempers. Can you describe very briefly the situation in the Netherlands on the issue of professionalization of this sector and the recognition of these workers, these people who are helping others at home?
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for having me here and to give a contribution to this debate. What we did in the Netherlands is that we validate informal learning. And informal learning, we started already in the 90s in the Netherlands to validate it. But at first hand, it was mostly related to the qualifications of the educational system. And what we see, especially for the domestic home care professions, it's not always part of the educational system. It's developing in a professional way, you can say. So what you learn at school is what you learn as a starting professional. You can do things and somebody is overlooking you when you learn it on the professional floor, you can say, the working floor. But the reality is that in the Netherlands, right up this moment, 2.3% of the students leave school without a diploma. So you have quite a large population, growing even in that sense, who doesn't have any diploma to show what kind of skills a person has. And besides that, even if you leave school with a diploma, you get work into a different sector. And what do you prove in that sense? And after leaving school, it takes quite a long time, 3 to 5 years, to get a skilled professional. And what's so weird in the Dutch situation is that for a long time, the experience certificate we give to people based on their experiences was not recognized or even recognized as a lower level than the diploma, which is weird, which is the opposite way, and we often compared it with Escher, walking on a stair which is walking up but getting downward. I don't know whether everybody knows the pictures of Escher, but take a look at that. It's fascinating. So the experience certificate is proving that you learn something on the working floor and which can prove that you are a skilled professional. But it's weird then to compare it to the qualifications of the educational system. So therefore in the Netherlands, after years, we mentioned and we noticed that you need professional standards, and it's due to, it's a call for EFFE also to try to develop with all countries together the professional standards with all the skills people need in their professions. And besides that, what is important is that we also have assessors from that domestic domain who are capable of measuring the skills in